I shot a short film in 24 hours by myself. I want to take this time to break down sort of my process in filmmaking, how and why I did each shot the way I did it, and sort of pros and cons of filming by yourself. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Dirk Finsmacher. I primarily came to Los Angeles as an actor right after I graduated from Arizona State University, go Sun Devils. And obviously that wasn't enough for me. I got into filmmaking and photography and modeling and a whole bunch of other things while I was out here in Los Angeles. Today we're going to talk about specifically my process and how I created this film and or why I did a 24-hour film. I think creating a film at least once a month is really important for filmmakers to be able to stretch themselves, not only on having little to no budget, but as far as what it is they're able to do. And I like to constantly stretch myself and see what I'm able to do. And I do like, weirdly enough, working alone. Even though I'm in the film industry, I understand that it is collaborative, it's interdisciplinary. I love all of that stuff. But a lot of the times when you're not able to pay somebody, you don't oftentimes get to tell them no on things, or at least be able to explain why you don't want something done. So the best way to have that freedom, that creative outlook, is to just shoot a film by yourself. This film is called I'm Sorry. Now, every film I sort of come up with a concept, and with said concept, I like to do this thing called divergent thinking. And what divergent thinking is basically you come up with an idea, a concept, as something as small as the color green. And from there, you start to branch off with whatever idea comes ahead. You're just throwing things at the wall. It's something I learned from a teacher. Her name was Liz Lerman. She was in the Atlas of Creative Tools back in Arizona State University. So for this movie, I'm Sorry, I wanted to stick in that sort of thriller horror vibe. And what I will do is I'll show you guys a little bit of the first scene right now. Do you think it's easy for me seeing you as somebody else? It's been 3 months, Rebecca. 3 fucking months, man. How many times do you want me to say that I'm sorry? Okay, I'm sorry. She didn't mean anything. Okay, I fucking love you. I'm being immature. I'm being immature. You know what? Fuck you! I think the hardest part about this scene was obviously thinking of a location. Weirdly enough, all my short films, except for 2 of them, I have shot from within my own home. in Los Angeles, that is most likely the way you're gonna go. First of all, because it protects me with my audio. This short film was my first time using, actually. I Rode Wireless Pros. So they are 32-bit float. They do capture sound in a very wide dynamic range. And I think the most important thing while shooting solo is, first of all, this shot actually demonstrates it all. Having good lavaliers that you don't necessarily need to have somebody else to monitor. Having a good tripod. I'm using my Siri tripod. That's such a hard word to pronounce. Everybody's pronounces it differently, but it's an amazing tripod with a great swivel head. Whilst my BGH1 is connected to the Zhiyun Crane 4, so I have the Crane 4 mounted to this tripod. Therefore, you know, I can change the pitch and the pan and the tilt and all that fun stuff in a way that services me during the shot. And I'm using my Mikey 12mm lens. I'll list all the equipment just so you guys can see what I used. A lot of these shots I did in this first scene are super simple, super easy, and it's just about getting creative. I like Dutch angles. I like to underexpose. I use one light that I shot from within my sort of patio area to make a nice daylight. It's my GVM 300 watt. So just get really creative, and the best thing I can probably say to use is, and I know I put it in the thing, but having some sort of hazer or fog machine, this thing is gonna make all of your shots look super cinematic. And let's look at this next little second. I direct for an edit. I go into each project with a shot list. Now, this second scene's you can tell how important the shot list is because there's a lot of little things going on. So, you know, I sort of have this descent into madness sort of approach. At the end of the film, I have a quote by Friedrich Nietzsche. You stare into the abyss long enough, the abyss will stare back. So I sort of wanted that play to come in here. I wanted this sort of surrealist, absurdist, sort of Kafka-esque vibe to go in. This man, he doesn't necessarily overdose, but it's the indulgences, it's the sex, it's the cheating, it's the drinking, it's the pills, I dressed him in a certain way to show that this man just works. It's the indulgence in the grind. So I want to show that descent into madness. I used milk for the throw up. I used some flour, and I did all my own makeup. It and everything, and I underexpose. I just used one light. It's a Zhiyun CL100 cine bar light sort of thing, and lit the whole bathroom that way. And again, I had my tripod with me so I could do some nice top-down shots. And I will say now in this section that using Krotos Studios has been amazing. No one's sponsoring this video, by the way. These are all the things I use for my own workflow. Because again, I shot and edited this in 24 hours. So using Krotos Studio helped me with editing my sound design and making the score. It's really easy. It's pretty much you create it on the fly, and then you can drag and drop that rather than creating something in Audacity or going to YouTube and downloading an MP3. So this whole section, I really wanted to play with the color grade and the sound design, really grab the audience in. I do like dialogue, but when I shoot things like this, I don't think dialogue necessarily needs to hold the film up. I think a lot of the sound design and the way things look, the imagery really holds up for thrillers and little horror shorts, at least for my movies. And you're gonna do what you wanna do. But again, the scope of things is gonna be very important to think about. Having a shot list and being able to execute that in the edit is what is the most important thing for you as a solo artist. Let's go into this third and last scene a bit. The imagery of the devil does invoke a lot of things emotionally. And I myself, if you couldn't see, so I die and I see my own body and I go to this sort of abyss area, and I myself also play the devil. One other constraint you'll have is being all your own characters, but I love doing that. I'm an actor primarily, obviously, but I'm a storyteller. I like the idea of disappearing into these different little aspects and sort of creating this little surrealist experience. And I think that's important for you to know going in, because then that's going to dictate your sound design and your lighting. So if you can, again, the lighting, I like high saturation, I like weird stuff. So for the devil, I just backlit myself. I'm sort of reusing this red light as, you know, it's lust, it's the drive to want more and stuff. And this main character, he sort of just acquiesces to the fact that, okay, he's gone too far and he's sort of, you know, he lost himself. And in doing that, you know, I have a lot of fog. I had these lasers shooting through, and I just use one backdrop and I shoot on the 180 degree, the 180 rule that you all know about. And it's essentially the same exact shot. I just swap the lighting to make it look like it's sort of these two characters in this abyssal room. And yeah, I mean, yeah, that's the short film. And what I'll say is the pros about working by yourself, with yourself, is, again, you have full creative control. You get to see what you can do and what you can't do. You get to be able to dictate certain shots. I love the freedom of being able to do that. I already know how I'm going to edit it, so I'm directing it, shooting it, and then I'm not missing a lot of continuity stuff. I will say there's one thing continuity-wise I missed, and it's when I threw the phone on the couch in the beginning. You can kind of see it disappear in the next shot because I'm using the phone to play with the lights on the fly, because I'm doing everything in camera if I can. I don't like a lot of CG, After Effects, Fusion stuff. I'll put it in when I need it, but this movie actually has none of it. And again, going into post-production, you get to be with yourself and by yourself and sort of see what it is you like. And then it's so much more fulfilling when your failures are yours and your successes are yours, because there's no one to blame but yourself. I'll say one con, if I can think of one, is it reminds you about how awesome it is to have a crew that is just as creative and or single-minded as you when you are in those sets where it just flows beautifully. I rarely have them, but when there's somebody who's like, oh yeah, this would be cool, oh yeah, this would be cool, and you're just kind of flowing with them rather than inhibiting your creative flow, that's magical. But other than that, you know, why'd I make this? I just made it because I want to. I have to. I'm a filmmaker. Just like musicians should be making music constantly, I need to constantly be making these, you know, these movies. And also on top of that, these videos, whether or not people watch these videos or not. Maybe you guys will in the future. This will be a sort of vlog, but yeah, I think this descent into madness, I'm sorry, and this character is saying I'm sorry to myself, you know, I just needed to get that out of me, and I'm sure I'm going to be creating another one here probably in the next week or so. But again, just get out there and just shoot, just do it, just put it on paper. I'll do another video coming up about this music video that I just shot by myself solo, and I'm almost done editing that, but I think it shouldn't be terrifying to work with yourself and by yourself as an artist. I think it should be magical to discover what it is you're able to and able to not do in the time, in the frame, with the constraints you put around you, because that's where art's made. I think having too much budget and too much time ruins the artist. Creativity dies. So if you're just creating on constraints that you put yourself in, I think you get some of the most magical things. So thank you guys so much for watching. Definitely go watch the whole short film. I'll tag it in, but I appreciate you all. Get out there, get shooting, make some awesome art.